Okay, so today we're going to be talking about simplifying expressions. Okay, so remember, an expression is a combination of symbols, numbers, and operators like plus or multiplication. Okay, so an example would be x plus 5 or tangent theta times cosine theta. So you can notice there's no equal sign, right? It's not equal to anything, it's just an expression, right? So what does it mean to simplify an expression? So for example, if I told you simplify 4 times x minus 2x, what you're trying to do is take this more complicated expression and make it into a simpler expression. So the first thing you would do is, well, you can look inside the parentheses and you can go, oh, x and minus 2x are like terms, so I can combine them. So maybe your first step is combine like terms. Okay, so you can do that, and you are left with 4 times x minus 2x is negative x. Okay? And then your next step, maybe you could say, oh, well, now I have 4 times negative x. I'll just multiply the two terms. And you can say multiply. And then you can say, well, 4 times negative x is negative 4x. So this arrow means that we went from the first step to the second step. Okay, so this is our first step. And our next step, we multiplied 4 times negative x. So we ended up at negative 4x. So we went from this expression, which has 3 different terms here, to this expression, which has only one whole term. Okay, so we simplified 4 times the quantity of x minus 2x into negative 4x, and we know these two are equal from our steps. Okay, so what does that mean when we simplify trigonometric expressions? So I'll show you an example of simplifying trigonometric expressions. Okay. So let's say I wanted you to simplify cotangent of theta times sine of theta. Okay? Well, there's 2 different trig expressions here. What if I told you express this using only one trig function? So right now we have 2 different trig functions, cotangent theta and sine theta. Now we want to simplify it so it's only expressed in terms of one trig function. So then first step is you can notice, oh, well, cotangent theta, I know that happens to be cosine theta over sine theta. So you substituted cotangent theta or cosine theta equals sine of theta. Okay? And then sine of theta is already as simplified as it's going to get, so we can just keep it as such. And the next step, you notice, oh, well, we can just sine of theta over sine of theta is just 1. So this cancels out and just becomes 1, right? So we simplified sine of theta over sine of theta equals 1. So this expression right here actually became a simpler expression, just 1. Okay? And then we're left with, so this is our first step. It's the substitution. And then we cancel out. And so we are left with cosine of theta. So we expressed something that was in terms of 2 different trig functions into something that's only in terms of 1 trig function. So we simplified it. Right? So we started out with cotangent theta times sine of theta. We substituted cosine of theta over sine of theta for cotangent of theta. We kept the sine of theta. This becomes 1. Cosine of theta times 1 is just cosine of theta. And that's how you simplify trig expressions.